Welcome to Sublimation 101, and I'm your host, Dr. Shannon Wooden. Now, I know doctor's in my name, but I promise you I'm going to make this super simple, and we're going to do something we call KISS. Keep it simple, sublimator. And we're going to sublimate a shirt here with not just a design, but we're going to add some bling to it. Then we're going to do a pair of socks with the taco method. We'll do a license plate, and then we'll also do some hat patches. Get this, we're gonna do it with one template, one file that's gonna design it all, and you get to add your brand, your colors, and make the magic yourself. If you'd like to follow along, stay with me. We're about to sublimate a pair of socks to look all over, and what we're gonna do is use a method that I coined the taco method. Now, this is going to ensure that your design is cohesive from the left to the right as they're facing you, and then if they turn around, the design is still in order. Now, most of us, when we're pressing a design and we flip it on the press, we flip it the wrong way, so it looks correct in the front, but in the back, it's a mess. So if you do the taco method, it's gonna ensure not only do you have nice lined up designs, but you're gonna be consistent with the design on the front and the back. Let's go ahead and get into it. First, we're gonna start out with the print from the template, and this template has a background, and it also has an area where you can put an image, and it lines it up perfectly every time with some registration points. So what you're going to do is you're going to trim your print about the same amount of space off of the edge here after you fold it according to these registration marks. And if you look here and you hold it up to the light, you'll be able to see your registration marks line up there. I'm holding it up to a light. You can hold it up to a window or anything else. And once you get it in place, you're just going to fold it down the center. And then you're going to go ahead and cut off this excess piece here. When I cut, I like to glide and let my scissors and natural force do the trick for me. Do the same thing with the other sock here. Let's fold it in half. Let's find our center. Reinforce that fold there. And this is essentially the tacos. You'll see in just a moment, it's gonna work out just like a pair of tacos. That one didn't work so smooth. All right, in true YouTube fashion, of course you wanna show out in front of the camera. All right, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna open up both pieces here. And we're gonna load the tacos side by side, just like this. So as you're looking at it, you want to use the socks as the meat to stuff the tacos. However, before we do that, I want you to pay attention to a couple of things. One, this is gonna give you what I call a smile line. So that means that your design, especially if you have things that are straight across, are going to look weird and distorted unless you pull this down to be level at the top here. Then you want to compare it to your other sock, and you want them to be at the same level. That way, if you have the socks on side by side, they look like a match. All right, so we have them all matched up. Now I'm going to show you a method that I do where you do not have to use any spray adhesive. The spray adhesive is fine for 1 or 2 jobs at a time. When you have a whole set of jobs to do, you'll realize that even the nostril hairs get a little sticky because you're inhaling that adhesive, and it does stick. So in order to avoid that, I want to show you a way that is literally adhesive free. So once we open this up, we're going to take one sock, it's face down, bottoms up. And we're gonna make sure that we are pushed here into the center. Same thing over here, face down, bottoms up. And make sure that our jig and our graphic, our sock edges are all lined up here. We're at the same level. And then I'm gonna go ahead and close this up. Now, what you might be saying, well, Shannon, how is that gonna say stuck in there? This is how. I'm going to right about in the center area. I'm going to rip it down just a little bit. until I feel the tension of the insert there. I'm going to rip it down a little bit here. Then I'm going to use this point to fold it over, add a little bit of tape, and I just use regular smegular jugular masking tape. Actually, this is really inexpensive low tack masking tape, my favorite to use with sublimation. And then we're gonna tack that down right there. Now, that's gonna secure it on this side here, but we also want to make sure that we secure the bottom. And this one is an ankle sock, so I have a lot of space here at the bottom. So what I'm gonna do is cut off some of that extra space there. Then I'm going to tape this up as well, just to make sure that it's going to stay in place. Go ahead and get you a few pieces of tape ready. Have them on standby. You can also use heat tape right here. Okay, so I'm going to tape that up. And essentially, you've gone from a taco to somewhat like a burrito. If you want to secure it even further, you can fold it down again and tape those sides as well. If you feel like it's gonna move on you, but it is truly not necessary. You can go with that one in the middle and this one on the end, but that is how you're going to secure your sock in there with no spray adhesive. Now, if you did this correctly, this one is still in the same place. You're gonna do the same thing. Find about the center of the sock. We're going to tear down about the length of your thumb. I'm going to make sure that your sock is down into the center. Again, we'll fold it, add a little piece of tape, and do the same exact thing. Next, we're going to work on our license plate. It might come to you looking something like this with a film. It could be clear, yellow, blue. It has the film to protect it from scratching. So if it has it on there, just go ahead and peel that film off, and you'll have a nice glossy surface. It may come to you in a silver or a white. I prefer the white because it's gonna look nice and bright, and it's gonna take on those sublimation colors, especially if you're using true colors, it's gonna come out amazing. So I think I'll show you better than I can tell you. Let's go ahead and line this up, super simple. The same template that designs the t-shirt, designs the license plate, the hat patches, and also the socks, okay? So we're gonna take this, flip it down, right on top of the print, and we're gonna make sure it has the same amount of space all the way around, from left to right and top to bottom. And then we're gonna grab a little bit of heat tape and put on the edges here. And voila, just like that, heat tape appears. All right, that's what happens in YouTube Magic Land. We're gonna take the heat tape here and just secure the edges so that it doesn't have a chance to shift around underneath the press. And now we are ready for the press. And just for fun, because we had a little bit of extra space on the page, we're gonna do some hat patches here. I have some faux leather patches and also some faux embroidered satin patches. So what we're gonna do is just set them up face down onto the print, making sure that we have the same amount of space going all around the print. That way our design is nice and centered. And I'm eyeballing it, but I think my eyeballs are good enough. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and secure that with a little bit of heat tape. And this time I'm gonna hang the tape off just a little bit, so it'll be something for me to grab when it's time to remove the image. All right, and I'll do this for all 4 patches here. Now, I don't know if you knew this, but you can sub and bling. So what we're gonna do is we're going to add to our sublimation shirt design a heart that exactly matches the heart in our design so that we can add a little fun to our sub. So in order to create the bling heart here, we're going to, of course, we cut this out with our vinyl cutter. We're gonna place it onto this surface here, and you can use a foam board or even your tabletop here. I'm gonna add the stones, and just be generous with your stones. You can always scoop them back up and use them again. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your brush here. You're gonna go ahead and start moving in a circular motion. And then once we have it all filled in, we're going to look for any missing holes, and then we'll use this special pen tool to place those strays in place. So you see how it's filling in all nicely? And you all, I thought that rhinestones, bling was so hard, but this literally is a breeze. Now, once you get most of the stones in place, you can go ahead and brush the excess stones out of the way, and then you can manually place a couple of the strays that are missing. It's easier than just continuing to try to get it perfect. You want to move these out of the way, and then of course you can use those stones for your next project, but for right now I just want to get them completely out of the way so they won't be straight. Now what we'll do is we'll take this pin here that has a wax tip to it, and we can pick up a stone with the wax and manually place it inside of one of the missing areas. So this part, if you need a little woo-saw to your day, this will certainly give it to you. And then if you need to move it around, you could take the other side, which is just like a little pin tip, and you can push it right into place. And you'll do that until you get all of your holes filled up. Next, now that we have all of the stones in perfect placement, we're going to take our application tape here and peel it off. It'll be clear. And keep this backing here because you will need it to put it onto later. All right, we're gonna go ahead and kind of give it a good bend in the center. Barely touch it and just let it down gently. Just like your boyfriend in high school. No, I'm saying I didn't have no boyfriend in high school. All right, let's go ahead and take our tool here, give it a little pressure, and that's just gonna ensure that our stones are sticking there. And you can also use your hand here to make sure you give it some good adhesion, and I can even feel it connecting better with the hand here. Give a little pressure there. And I see one stone that flipped. So if you see a flipped stone, you can correct that before you press it. Just simply remove. Add a little couple of extras down there. You want to simply remove this from the backing and then have this ready to place it on afterwards, and move these out of the way. And if you have a stone that's still sitting in there, the way that I'm pulling it off, I can go ahead and press right back down, pick that stone up, and keep it moving. All right, and then if you're going to store this, you can actually store it here on this release paper. And I have a couple of stones just 2 stones that came out. Again, use your little wax tool here. This time you're going to pick it up from the back instead of the front. And this one was actually wedged into the flock there. We'll pick it up with the tool from the back this time, and then we'll gently place it right in place there. Put a little firm pressure on it so it won't go anywhere, and we're all good to go. Now it's time to take our tacos and put them on the grill. Let's go ahead and open up our heat press here. This is a swing away press. We also have clamshell that I work for as well. Same principle. I'm going to lay down some cover paper here to capture any of the additional ink that may drift out as a gas when I'm doing this. It doesn't matter, because we did the taco method, it doesn't matter which order we put the tacos on the grill, okay? So I don't know if you ever put tacos on the grill, but I always prefer to putting socks on the grill. I don't know why. It's fun, super fun to me. Let's go ahead and give it a medium pressure, and we're going to let that go for a full minute. Then we're going to flip it, and we have to grill the other side. So maybe at this point it's a quesadilla. Okay, Let's go ahead and give it a lift. Give it more of a lift. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and flip this. Now this is a high quality press, so I really don't even have to go the full 60 seconds with it, but I'm ensuring that my ink is going to reach the edges of the sock, so I will have no white edges. Now I'll go ahead and flip it here. Be very careful because this is extremely hot. I'm using my nails right now, but you could also use some heat gloves. Let's use cover paper again for protection of your press. All right, let's go ahead and close this up. We're gonna let it cook for another minute here, and then we'll have a pair of socks. All right. Be very careful, this is hot. You may wanna use some heat gloves right here. All right, we are going to unveil the once tacos, then burritos, then quesadillas, okay? If this doesn't make you hungry by now, then I don't know what will. Let's go ahead and rip open the paper here. And we can already see that beautiful present inside of there. Pops right on out. And let me show you something here. Well, let me show you after it cools off, because if I pick this up again, I might end up dropping it like it's hot. Let me go ahead and remove this one as well. This one's cooling off here. And the reason why I like it like this too is that I can literally just peel the paper off. And you see these beautiful true colors. You won't see them anywhere else. No spray adhesive, no sticky nostrils. If I do like this, I'm not gonna turn into Michael Jackson, okay? For those of you who deal with the sticky spray, you know if you do like this, your nostrils are gonna stick together like that, okay? Hopefully you never have to find out about it because you do the taco method, okay? It's also gonna be better for your lungs and your overall health. All right, so we have our final design here. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it out of the jig, and it just floats right off of that jig. And these jigs come pre-installed. And right there, hot off the press, you have you a pair of socks. Check out those edges. No white line. Seamless, baby, seamless. That's the taco method for you. For our license plate, we're going to take our cover paper. I'm going to fold it in half here. So it will be our top and our bottom sheet here. If you don't have a sheet this big, you can just use 2 different sheets. I'm going to lay the print at the top. So the heat is going to be making contact with the print. And I know we laid it out like this so we can line it up. You want to make sure it stays lined up because your girl just shifted the print. Okay? So when we flip it over, we're going to make sure that we don't do what I just did on camera, which is let it slip. Okay? We're going to secure it, flip it. You can add some more tape if you want to, but if I wasn't playing with it, it would be just fine. All right, we're going to place it inside the cover paper, close it up. Give it a good old press for 60 seconds at about 395 degrees. Each press will be different based on what your press, how evenly it heats, how much pressure you're using, and how much time you're using. So go ahead and take this as a little bit of advice, but definitely test your machine, your time, your pressure, and your temperatures, okay? This is going to be piping hot. It is literally metal heated up to 400 degrees. Be extremely careful. I'm going to just peel the design off. That's why I only tape it up on the ends, because now I can take a part of the design that does not have any metal to it, and I can just rip down the center and reveal my print without touching anything hot or metal. Look at how gorgeous that is. Next, we're going to toss these patches on the grill, and these are a combination of square and circle satin patches that look embroidered on the edges, and then also the faux leather. So I'm going to put the faux leather one side by side and the embroidered one side by side. Now you want to make sure that the image is face up I'm just placing them individually so I don't move them around on the print. There we have it. And make sure you add a cover sheet to the top of it to protect your heat press. And now we just go ahead and give it a press. Right, again, let's be very careful here. It is hot. But you don't want the sublimation paper to stay on there because it could ghost your image. So what we're going to do is go ahead and peel those patches. And this is a beautiful way to add upgrades to some hats, maybe even a denim jacket or some jeans. And all of our patches are ready to go. Now we're gonna load up our sublimation shirt. Right now I'm using a Jersey's 21M. It is my favorite shirt to use for all over shirts, and then also for our 13 by 19 or smaller jobs. So we're gonna go ahead and lay it out with the collar hanging off the top here. Make sure that we have equal distance on the sides of the shirt, that we have a hang that's even here. That's gonna let me know that I'm right smack dab in the middle. And then I'm gonna go ahead and give it a light pre-press of about 10 to 15 seconds. That's just to get the moisture and the wrinkles out. Next, we're gonna go ahead and add our print. And for this, we have a design that's printed in reverse. Of course, it's a sublimation, so it's gonna look mirror print. We're gonna fold our print in half, but not all the way. We're just gonna pinch it at the top, middle point, and at the bottom, middle point. That's gonna let us know if we have good alignment here. We come down from the top of the shirt about 3 finger widths. And this is one reason why I do like a swing away, because I can easily get my hand in there without fear of burning. So I'm gonna pull it up just a little bit here. And then I'm gonna place my cover paper up top. Oh, I just shifted it. Whenever you're placing your cover paper, don't do what I just did. Float it over the top of your print and then lay it down. And you will never have to use heat tape if you use a quality press. The reason why some people have to tape all the way around their print is because they're using a cheaper quality press like I have over there. And what happens is when you pull up on it, it literally will pull your print up with it as well. And then you risk it landing back down and ghosting your image, which is where it creates a little lighter version, a light copy of your print, but in the wrong place. So if you have a high quality press where you don't have that action, or you have an auto press, you usually do not have to tape down your design. All right, let's go ahead and close this up. Now for my shirts, I typically do not do a full 60 minutes. I usually do about 40 to 45 seconds. And you definitely want to check your press, your temperature, and then also make sure that your pressure and your time is just right for your substrates. Here's a helpful tip. Go ahead and make a list of all of your substrates, all of the times, all of the temperatures, and if you have a pressure gauge, it should tell you what your pressure is like as well. We're ready for the reveal here. Let's go ahead and take off our prints. And we have a beautiful, vibrant design here. We're gonna go ahead and take this over to our other press, or if you wanted to continue on this press, you would just take the temperature down to about 320 degrees, and then that way you have to press your stones for about 15 seconds, then do another press for about 15 seconds. So I'll show you on the smaller press here. So we have our sublimation shirt, brightly colored with True Colors ink, and we're going to add even something more special than True Colors to it. We're gonna add some bling. So let's go ahead and place it on the press here. You can use a piece of paper inserted inside of this, because sometimes the adhesive from the back of the stones will go through the fibers of the shirt and stick to the back of the shirt. And if you do it really quickly, you can actually go ahead and pop the adhesive from the back as long as you don't let it cool. I'm going to go ahead and remove my backing from the stones here that we did earlier. Now the way that we created this design, we created this heart to exactly match up with the inside of our sublimation print. So all we're gonna do is just go ahead and make sure we have the same amount of space floating all the way around here. We're gonna lay down our tape so that it stays in place there. Make sure our neck is hanging off there. And then we're gonna add some cover paper and press. Let's go ahead and add our cover paper. And here I like to let it go for at least 15 seconds. Sometimes you can let it go for a little bit more, around about 320 degrees, but it really depends on your press. Some of my presses burn really efficient and hot, and some do not. I had to give an additional 5 seconds because I only set my timer to 10 seconds there. Now I'm gonna go ahead and remove my cover paper. Keep that cover paper, because you're probably going to have to do a second press. I'm gonna go ahead and remove my stones, or remove my adhesive sheet. All right, so that carrier sheet is gone now. I'm gonna make sure that I go ahead and open this up, and I did not end up with it heating to the back of my shirt. But what I am going to do, I like to turn my shirt inside out and put some heat on the back of these stones. It's not necessary to do it like this, but you are going to have much better adhesion if you do this. So I know it's a little extra step, but here is where I would thread the shirt. If you can't thread the shirt, you're gonna have to put some paper inside. So threading the shirt means that you're going to take it, open it up. And for this, you're gonna need your cover paper on the press. Don't even go with Teflon. And I'm just gonna thread the shirt on like so. And what this is going to ensure is that I have a good even heat along the back here. Now, typically I would do this on my press that threads better, but I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes to show you how I get the best adhesion for my rhinestones. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and give it another 15 seconds there. All right, and just like that, my other press has Teflon on there too. This is my starter press. So the reason why I have that press is so that I can show people that you don't have to have a $3,000 press or a $2,000 press or a $1,500 press. This press right here is about $250, and it can get you started with almost everything that you need to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you what that looks like. Let's lay it down so you can really see in the lights how this blings. Look at that bling. Beautiful. And then I have the sublimation design here. We have our socks. We have our license plate and our hat patches. All from one template in pretty much less than 1 hour. If this video was helpful to you, make sure that you share this with a fellow creative, and both of y'all like and subscribe.